Hello and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with a Disability Policy for All. Today I have the great fortune to be talking to the summer of 2016 interns of the American Association for People with Disabilities, their Internship Program. And the interns that I'm talking to today is Caitlin, Chasar, Jovan Ruvalcaba, and Francis Isbell. And we're going to be talking with them about their experience this summer, their experiences that they have had this summer. So welcome.
Thank you for having us.
The first question is, where and who did you intern with this summer? And begin with Kate and then go around.
I'm very lucky to be interning with AUCD this summer.
Can you tell what AUCD stands for?
Oh, the Association for University Centers on Disability.
Okay, great.
Hi, and I'm interning with Senator Charles Schumer from New York.
Okay.
I'm interning with the Administration for Community Living at the Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, why is it important for students with disability to take advantage of internship? And we'll begin with you, Kate.
Well, I think it's really important for people with disabilities to take advantage of internships because we might not have as many opportunities in employment that people without disabilities have, and so just getting out there and getting your foot in the door is a good opportunity to do internships through that. So you can get your foot in different opportunities through that.
And I agree with everything Kate said. I also think that there are things in internships that you can learn, in school, reading a textbook, and it exposes you to those things. And that's for everyone. For disabilities, we are part of this community, and it's important to be out there in policy in particular. There's a saying in the disability community, nothing about us without us. So in my case, I'm with Senator Schumer, who introduced the Disability Integration Act. And so, again, it's nice just to be out there and for other people to know that disability is part of this community.
And we're very excited that Senator Schumer has sponsored the legislation. So, Francis?
Yeah, so again, I would agree with both Kate and Jovan, but for me also, it's been really important to be around so many members of the disability advocacy community, particularly because I want to go into disability rights law and policy, and so I think that it helps so much to be able to be a part of that community as you're trying to develop your career. You already have those connections as you're looking for a job. But yeah, I think that sort of all three of those main points are really important.
Great, thank you. The next question is, what did you learn about policies this summer? And we'll begin with you, Francis.
Okay. So I've done a lot of different things at ACL. On one hand, they've introduced me to new legislation that I didn't have as much background in, like for example, like the DD Act or things like that. I've also done, legal research on things like P&A access to records. P&A stands for Protection Advocacy Programs. But generally, I've really enjoyed just seeing a different side of how different agencies and different organizations are run. ACL is sort of oversees a lot of different organizations. For example, like the UCD programs or independent living programs, TBI programs. It sort of just is like an organizing network of all of these programs, and so it's been neat for me to see that side of it. And I've gotten to do things with Medicaid, just I guess a broad array of things that relate to disability and health policy.
What does TBI mean?
Traumatic brain injury.
Thank you. Chasar?
I've learned lots. At a personal level, working in Congress, I've had the opportunity to attend, as many briefings on the topics that interest me personally. So anything from SICA to foreign policy to disability as well. And so I've learned in those particular areas because I've been given the opportunity to attend. But I also have learned in a bigger level how democracy works. It might be, the process, Congress might be slow, but it's slow because they do take input from everyone, and I've learned how important it is actually to call your senator. One of the things is, answering phones and listening to constituents and their concerns, and at least I can speak for Senator Schumer's office. He listens, and his staff listens to the concerns of the people. And so I can't emphasize enough how important it is to call in and also obviously to vote and elect the people that reflect your interests. And even if the people you don't agree with their policies, or they're still your representatives. So just because they're from a different party doesn't mean that they're not there to work for you.
That's great. And this week is voter registration for people with disabilities. So the voting is so very important.
It's super important.
Kate?
Well, before I got here, I didn't really know too much about policy. I'm a counseling major, so it's not really in my frame of what I focus on, but I've observed a lot being at AUCD about policy, and I've learned that a lot of it is making connections and building relationships with others to get a certain bill passed. So I've learned, quite a bit about it.
And because I work with AUCD, I know that you met someone this summer. Can you tell us about?
I'm sorry,
That you met someone this summer.
I did, yes. I met Senator Casey a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, with Andy Imparado, who is the executive director of AUCD, and that was super exciting. He's my senator because I'm from Pennsylvania, and he was a really great guy. So that was one of the highlights so far of my experience here.
Great. Thank you. The next question is, and maybe you have already said it, which is fine. What were your favorite things that you did this summer at work? And we'll begin with Francis again.
So I think that my favorite experience was attending a disability policy meeting with sort of representatives from all of the major federal agencies and the disability context. And it was just really neat to be in a room with all of these head officials, and I get to hear their perspective on different issues in the disability community. So I really enjoyed that, and I think that we've all had sort of different experiences with going to briefings and going to conferences like that. But there was that one in particular that was really interesting. And then I guess for like a project that I've worked on, I've gotten to sort of research how Medicaid works for students trying to get out-of-state services, which is sort of a personal issue for me, and so it's been really neat to get to do that sort of in, a work environment too.
Great, thank you. Yeah.
And I did mention a lot of, going to briefings and just being in Congress in general. I would say that the whole experience, there isn't no one part better than the other. We were talking earlier off camera about getting on the metro and walking past the Library of Congress, the Supreme Court, the Capitol, of course. So everything it's my first time in DC, I should say that. And everything, walking past history and then meeting some of the people that are making history now, that aren't in the news, it's just been a great experience.
Great, thank you, Kate.
It's hard for me to pick one, like Jovan said. Definitely meeting Senator Casey was very exciting. But honestly, just making connections and meeting people in the disability community has been one of my favorite things. There's so many cool people out there that I've gotten to talk to, make connections with. I would also say just shadowing Andy on different places that he goes and meetings that he attends is really exciting. But on the flip side, just coming into work at AUCD is awesome because the people are so cool there and they're so much fun, and it's a really great work environment. So I can't pick one thing.
Thank you. The last question is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? And we'll start with Kate this time.
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I'm going to the Democratic National Convention pretty soon with AUCD, so I'm really excited about that. But I would just encourage anybody out there with a disability who is in college or recently graduated to definitely apply for this internship program. It's an opportunity of a lifetime, so it's been great, and I'm so lucky to be here and so happy to be here. So.
Thank you.
I can't disagree with any of what she said, so echo that kind of sentiment. Apply. AAPD is great about placing you where your interests are. We also get mentors, and everyone in the program essentially is a mentor. Everyone we meet, and it's a very tight-knit community. Be united. I want to say, obviously, if you have a disability out there, you're not alone. There's a whole community within your particular disability, but just visible and invisible disabilities in general. I've learned, we've come together through this program in DC. So apply to this program, but also others. It's an investment on yourself. It's an investment on the community. So, yeah, that's it.
Great.
So my message is, pretty much the same, but I would just, I guess, add that don't be afraid to apply early, like even as a college student. All of us are in graduate school, but there are several other interns that are in college, and the first thing I thought when I came here was, wow, what if I could have had this experience a few years ago? I think that it's just an amazing experience, and don't be afraid to apply. And like Jovan said, also apply to other similar experiences. But either way, just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. It's an incredible experience, and we need more people with disabilities here in the community.
Thanks. And as the host, I'm going to take the to say that we thank AAPD, the American Association for Persons with Disabilities, for providing this so very important internship, because as Francis says, we need, and I think everyone says that we need more people with disabilities here in DC, living with disability and working in their shoes, and so thank you AAPD.
And Michael and Zach, for sure. They are amazing people, so we definitely have to give a thank you to them.
Thank you. Thank you, and if you have any more questions about this or any other policy issues, please go to the AUCD webpage and look for this week's In Brief. And if you have any questions about this edition of Tuesdays with Liz, please leave them in the space below. Thank you again. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.